What do you think about the Christians who don't eat seafood like lobster?
It's crazy. I know Christians that do that. They don't eat shellfish.
Right.
They don't eat pork. That was resolved in the Bible.
What does it say?
There's a big fight about it between the apostles, and it says that we don't have to obey the dietary restrictions. There's a spectrum among the apostles of how much of the old law was going to be maintained, like circumcision, dietary restrictions, that sort of thing. They basically, in the early Christian community in Antioch, they basically decided that ethnic Jews would still circumcise, but Gentiles would not have to, and they got rid of the dietary laws.
Okay, is America a Christian country? How so?
Founded by Christians and was born from Christian civilization. England, Germany, France, Ireland, Italy. You know, because when you think about it, America is named after an Italian explorer, Amerigo Vespucci.
Right.
Columbus discovered the Americas. The original colonies were founded by Christian separatists like Puritans and people that were against the Anglican Church. And all the early immigrants, whether from England, Netherlands, Sweden, Germany, they're all Christian. So,
was Amerigo Vespucci Protestant or Catholic? Probably Catholic, right?
Yeah, Italian. Why, do you think it's Muslim or something?
No, I don't. There's freedom of religion. Obviously, America's not a Muslim country.
I don't know.
You see, Rumble now has ads about radical jihadists are taking over America. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, what Matan Evan was saying, oh, you became Muslim to get a Rumble deal. It's like, look at the ads. They're saying radical jihadists are ruining this country. No, yeah, obviously I'm not saying it's a Muslim country, but America, what about the freedom of religion that we have?
That's the thing. I mean, if you go back to the intentions of the founders, I don't think they intended that the country was going to have non-Christians living here in significant numbers, because you got to keep in mind, at the time of the founding, Constitution, Revolutionary War, the 1780s, this is at the height of European empire, or maybe a century before the height of European empire, but like the idea that we would have a significant number of atheists, Muslims, Jews, even for that matter, is unthinkable. The same goes for racial diversity. So, I mean, I go back to Federalist Number 2, written by John Jay. He talks about America's adversaries and foreign influence, and he says this is one country for one people, one religion, one ethnicity, all this kind of stuff. So I think its character, Christianity, is inextricable from the country. Do you disagree?
I see your point. It's just, I've also seen Thomas Jefferson mention.
One reason for that, right? Would you share?
Yeah, we're sharing.
Yes. Okay. There we go. Want to bring some?
There's a quote, I think, in Jefferson's autobiography where he talks about how America's for all religions, and he even says Mohammedans. That's what they used to call Muslims back then.
Yeah. I hate Jefferson.
You don't like Jefferson?
Not a Jeffersonian. I'm a Hamiltonian.
What about Washington?
Love Washington.
Super base. What is it about Jefferson you don't like?
I don't like his ideology.
He was more Enlightenment?
Yeah, he was a libertarian, basically.
Was he Christian?
No. He was a deist. You know, the thing about Jefferson, he thought that farming makes people virtuous. He thought that working the land, like there's something inherent in that builds character. And then, you know, there's some truth to that, because you have to wake up at the crack of dawn, you sow the field and reap the harvest, and you're sort of in tune with nature, you're hardworking, you're disciplined, it's like physical labor, so it makes you robust. So he envisioned a country of literally of farmers. Yeah. And that goes with self-government, because if you're on a farm,
you don't need to
like the king of your own, you know, whatever. Whereas Hamilton said, no, the power's in the cities.
Oh, that's okay.
So that's why I'm Hamiltonian.
Yeah, you made a great... I say these points all the time, and people get really upset. I said one of my favorite things about New York City is the multiculturalism. Mm-hmm. You said something similar, how all the Trump people, they moved to Wyoming after 2020 election was rigged, and then they're calling D.C. all the time, like, hey, how's it going? How's it going? It's like they go away alone on their farmland around whites only, and they get bored out of their mind. Mm-hmm. You say that, people are like, yeah, that's true. We like cities and interacting. I say that, people say that I'm destroying the white race.
No, they were mad at me, too. They said, oh, you're a hypocrite, and Ricardo Duchesne said Americanism is multiracialism, and it always will be. In a bad way, he meant it. And I mean, it's the uncomfortable reality that these people don't want to acknowledge, which is that liberal capitalism is very attractive. Like, the country that America is very desirable and attractive, and it is the way it is for a reason. It's because people like it. That's why they vote for it lately.
So what are your thoughts on multiculturalism?
You know, I like it in moderation. We kind of got a good thing going now, but I don't like the idea that there's going to be no monoculture. There's like no center. You know what I mean? Like, in other words, America's good if it's like America with some other stuff, with some spices and ingredients. But if it's like there's no America and it's all diversity, then it's like, okay, well, what even is this now?
You want to keep it as a minority.
Yeah.
I can see that point. Or else it loses its cultural essence, it loses its core, and it has to maintain its core. That makes sense.
This is a good Caesar salad.
Oh. Oh. What a coincidence. The McNaught. And is America a white country?
No, I mean, not anymore.
60% still?
Yeah, but it's obviously changing.
I looked at the stats recently. It's pretty crazy how drastically it shifted. When I was born, I think it was almost 80% in 98. 27 years later, it's 60%, 20% decline in my lifetime. That's a demographic change you can see as you grow up.
It's noticeable.
But from the 20s until the 70s, it was pretty much the same. Almost exactly the same amount of whites.
Yeah, it's now a multiracial country. That's just the demographics.
Should America be a white country?
I mean, yeah, that's what it was founded as. So I think that if it ceases to be European, it's no longer what it is. You know, it'd be like taking the Russians out of Russia or the Chinese out of China. Now, I say that as an Italian, Irish, Mexican. My people weren't here at the time of the founding, but if those people aren't there, is it America? If it's all Italians making pizza and Mexicans making tacos and Irish doing their thing, it's something else.
But isn't that natural to what if America is the place of liberty, freedom, the pursuit of happiness, Statue of Liberty, immigration, new opportunity, isn't it inevitable that it becomes the multiracial country it is now?
No, I mean, if you look at the history of how that happened, it was never inevitable. Which basically, in 1965, because of the Civil Rights era, they said it's racist to set national origins quotas and say we're only going to have this many immigrants from Europe and this many from China and this many from wherever. And so they got rid of the quotas. And then the immigration became extremely diverse. And then in 1990, they basically doubled the amount of immigrants. So now we're getting very diverse immigrants and way more of them. And it was deliberate. I mean, it was lobbied for by immigrant groups and the Chamber of Commerce, the business interests, because they wanted the labor. First they wanted the farm labor, and then they wanted the tech labor. I will say, to your point, it may be inevitable because the immigration pressure is coming from all non-white countries because that's where they're having kids. So why is there pressure to bring in non-white people? Because they're having kids. White people are rebuilding Europe and then not having kids. So, that's the reality.
What's the main reason white people are not reproducing?
No one knows. I think it's modernity. And it's hard to peg whether it's technology, whether it's feminism, whether it's the apostasy from religion, because it's across the board.
Probably all factors.
Yeah. And Asia too. South Korea, Japan, China. They got rid of their one-child policy because they're not having kids anymore. So I think it's something I think it might be feminism. Feminism seems to be a huge part of it, if I were to guess.
Try some lettuce now, bro, before I take it all. It's too good.
It is really good.